Andy, you go on there.
Eric, what are your overall thoughts on tonight's match?
Yeah, I was really pleased that we won the game because I felt like it was certainly something we deserved. It didn't look necessarily cut and dry until we scored the goal, but I felt up until that point we were really good value for it. We obviously restricted them to very little. We had a number of really good chances. I would say that we controlled the game without having the absolute lion's share of the ball, but we were well in control throughout, and you always felt that we were one bit of spark, one combination coming off, one of the forwards being really decisive away from putting it out of sight. So I feel like we got what we deserve for sure.
Obviously, it seems like your team has kicked it up a notch defensively almost. What do you ascribe that to?
We've obviously had a really solid base last year. I think if you were to look at us post-Leagues Cup last year, we were for sure one of the strongest teams defensively across all 29 teams that were involved last year, I felt. And I think we've continued in that vein over the course of the first couple of games. I'm sure if you're watching us from afar and you're seeing those two performances, you're seeing a team that's very difficult to beat, seeing a team that gives very few chances away, is very comfortable defending in a certain way, but can also create. And I think you've seen that tonight. We've had a number of really good chances. We were very purposeful in how we make attacks. You're seeing us create attacks in a very patterned way. You're seeing the same types of chances over and over again, which for me is the marker of a good team.
On the other side of the ball, attacking, you have had a lot of chances in the past two matches, but you have struggled to put the ball in the net. Any thoughts on that, and what is going to happen going forward to try and combat that?
Yeah, I was asked that question in the week. I don't think we will struggle over the course of a season. I really trust that we've got forward players that can take chances, and I think we were very close on a number of occasions today. We've got lots of variety in the front line. We've got lots of players that can hurt the opposition in a number of different ways, and we're keen to make sure we see the best of that. So we've obviously tried today with two forwards again, which I feel gives us a real edge at the top of the pitch. We finished with two 10s and a number 9. I felt like even in that shape, we were a threat for sure on the counter-attack. So I don't worry. I don't worry about that in the long run. I feel like we will come good for sure.
What was your takeaway on the goal?
Yeah, I think it was something that we've worked on a lot. Something that it looks messy, but there's a lot of purpose to that for sure. We're a team that has to be, and we want to be. We put a lot of effort into being a big threat on set plays, and I think we've got, if you look at the makeup of our lineup, we've got a powerful side, we've got an aggressive side in the air. We have to make sure that we capitalise on those moments. So I'm pleased that it's come early on in the season, because I'm sure if we're to be successful over the course of this year, a big part of that will be based on those moments, both for and against, and obviously without tempting fate, we've really tightened up on the other end in that sense too.
Teniendo en cuenta que es la segunda jornada, teniendo en cuenta también las condiciones climatológicas, el triunfo, por supuesto, es positivo y es bueno para ustedes. Sin embargo, en lo personal para el coach, ¿qué fue, además del triunfo, lo que más le agradó del juego?
Es el base que tenemos defensivamente. Yo creo que para nosotros competir con los clubes top en el MLS necesitamos defender de una manera muy sólida, y yo creo que podríamos ser uno de los mejores en ese sentido. Yo creo que para los rivales en el futuro, ellos van a ver un equipo que es muy difícil batir, es muy difícil de venir aquí y tener éxito, y eso es una cosa que quiero concretar inmediatamente, porque en la temporada pasada nuestra manera de ser aquí en casa no fue suficientemente bueno, y estoy muy feliz que aquí hemos comenzado con un resultado y una actuación que dice que podemos ser muy competitivos aquí, y tenemos un base muy sólido, y yo creo que yo sé concretamente que somos un equipo que va a mejorar y evolucionar cada semana, porque es eso que hemos hecho hasta ese punto.
Do you feel like Oluwaseyi and Yeboah are still working out how to play with another striker alongside him?
Yeah, it's not without its teething problems, but I think it's almost too easy a narrative, I would say, to jump on a fact that sometimes it looks a little bit messy, and sometimes they're too far apart, sometimes they're too close, sometimes they cross paths unnecessarily, sometimes they're a little bit detached from one another. But I think you're likely to see that with two number 9s. You're likely to see a little bit of messiness, particularly if you use them in the way that we do. And I feel like the main thing I'm concerned about is that when the opposition looks at us, they see a big problem in that sense. And I'm absolutely convinced that if you're the opposition in the coming weeks and you're looking at our first 2 games, you're seeing problems. And I'm really convinced that that's something that we've now got in our locker. I think over the course of the last 2 games, we've made it work really, really well in a way that last year we often couldn't. And you've seen toward the end of the game, we were able to revert pretty comfortably to what we were doing last year. And hopefully that's a hallmark of a team that plays with real variety and real adaptability.
Anthony started for you at left back. What did you like from what you saw from him tonight, and what do you think he'll be able to give you moving forward?
Yeah, so he's obviously very different to Joe, I would say, in that he's a defender. He's a defender first. Joe is definitely an attacker first on that side. So I think we probably didn't quite have the continuity and the dynamism and the sort of constant attacking threat that we've had in home games on that side. But we were very solid defensively. Anthony's a real competitor. He's someone that he's a quiet guy off the pitch, but once he crosses the white line, he's a real competitor. He's someone who's super aggressive. I think he's the sort of guy that the rest of the back line would want to go to the trenches with, though. I feel like he's demonstrated that tonight, and I had no qualms with him playing. I've almost to an extent been looking for an opportunity for him to play, because you feel like over the course of this season we're going to need the depth. Rosales obviously spends a lot of time away this year with his national team, and there's a lot of travel that entails. So I feel like to have Anthony in really good shape and ready to step in and ready to really compete for that spot is important for us.
What did you think of the penalty kick that was, or penalty call that was reversed?
Yeah, I actually haven't seen it back in real detail, but I think there was strong shouts on our bench that it probably should have been a penalty. But yeah, that's probably all I'll say on that. And fortunately, I can stand here and not dwell on it too much because of the result, I suppose.
Coach, primeros 3 puntos, ¿cómo te sientes con el equipo en el inicio de esta temporada? ¿Cómo ves el equipo al inicio de esta temporada y cuál es el objetivo a corto y largo plazo para el equipo?
Yeah, estoy muy feliz por las actuaciones recientemente, particularmente contra LA, una buena actuación, y hoy hemos visto mucho de las cosas que hemos hecho muy bien contra LA. Y lo que me gusta más es que tú puedes ver claramente lo que somos como un equipo. Tenemos una identidad muy clara, y como he dicho antes, un base muy sólido defensivamente. Y hoy, a pesar del hecho de que solo tuvimos 45% del balón, hemos creado muchas ocasiones, y eso es muy importante para mí, para nosotros, que somos un equipo que puede atacar con un buen ritmo, que puede crear mucho con poco en un cierto sentido, y yo creo que hemos hecho eso hoy, y hemos continuado con lo que hemos hecho muy bien contra LA, y en el corto plazo quiero continuar en esa manera, y asegurar que como equipo evolucionamos, porque desde mi tiempo aquí lo hemos hecho. Cada partido hemos mejorado, y eso es importante con un grupo joven que puede mejorar.
What went into the decision to start Robin and have Will come off the bench?
I want it to be very clear that we will rotate, we will use players in a really strategic way over the course of the season, and Will wasn't left out of the team for performance reasons in any way. I thought Will was really good last week, and adding to that, last year Will was super reliable for us, for sure, one of the first names on the team sheet, and him coming out of the team today was me setting the course for us, making sure that across Hassani, Robin, Joaquin, Will, Owen, Hoyun, maybe Carlos from time to time, that we have a real sense of everyone being able to contribute, and come the end of the year, I want to have 20 players that are really connected to what we're doing. So I felt like possibly, as it did pan out today, that this would be a game that Will would be really useful to come off the bench and hopefully help us close it out, which he did really, really well. So that's the path I've set, hopefully, that we're going to use each of these guys in a way that we see is most appropriate for the upcoming game, and they all feel that there's a genuine policy around rotation, and that the hierarchy isn't particularly clear.
How do you get Longwane on track? You spoke about how you want to get him involved in the offense more this season.
Yeah, it's again, it's an ongoing one with Bongi for sure, and he's really improved as a player since I've been here. Not just my doing, but he's really matured. I would say he's really reliable defensively. I think if he's a player that's got aspirations to go and play at a higher level, then if I'm a club at that level looking at him, I'd be far happier with him now than I would have been 12 months ago, in the sense he's much more complete, he's much more reliable, much more trustworthy, competitive defensively. So he's in a good spot, but he's also a player that can contribute offensively. And you've seen tonight, he's had a couple of good moments, he's had a couple of good chances. I don't think it's for, up until this point, him not being in the positions that he wants to be, and he's having an opportunity to do so. You're seeing that he's got a little bit of liberty on that side to come and play off the front a little bit, and he links really well with Tani and Kelvin when he's at his best, but also to play on the side where he's most comfortable. So I think it's for him to use that space that we give him, that freedom that we give him, and make sure that he pops up in the areas that he wants to. But I feel in terms of his contribution as a squad member, he's right up there at the moment, and someone that I can really look to be competitive, to be trustworthy, and to carry out what we want him to.
You brought Owen Jean on with just 3 minutes to play. He's one of your 3 new signings. Is the plan to phase him in slowly? And what about the other 2 new signings, Jung and Romero?
Yeah, so Owen came on slightly earlier than that, but he was for sure someone that we're keen to get on the pitch. We wanted to make sure that he's able to make his first steps with us here at Minnesota. I don't think it's ever an easy situation to put in a player that you haven't seen up close in a competitive game with 10 minutes or so to go, where you're 1-0 up. There's always that tension and to an extent an element of unknown around it, but he's done really well for us so far in training. He's a player that I know in a situation like that he can come on and be reliable defensively. He's aggressive. He covers ground really well, so I think it was a justified change, and he's someone that I'm sure will slowly make his way to being a more important player as the weeks and months go on. But we're quite fortunate in the sense, as I've described, we sort of got, when you count him and Hoyun and you add them to the midfield players we've got good competition in there at the moment, and I want to make sure that there is that sense of rotation and that we use them all well and they all feel that they're contributing.
Good, Coach. Thank you, everyone.
Good. Thanks, guys.
Kelvin
Cheers.
and Tani in the locker room.